Oh, hi there. I didn't see you guys walk in. Just enjoying some fine children's candy. Welcome to New Dad Gaming. The kids are asleep, we have stolen their candy, and it's once again time for the show. This show is about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. As always, I'm Trevor, and I have now a 5-month-old.
I'm Gavin, and I have a almost 3-month-old.
I'm Jeff. I'm not dealing in months. It's a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old.
No, so that candy gag is not paying off because now I have it stuck in my teeth.
Yeah, I heard you had this pause. I'm like, oh,
Whoops.
Now he has to chew on a gummy.
I'll get it. Keep going.
That's the best part.
Filming Mr. Ed. Somebody else could just fill in for him.
Ah, there goes the.
Subtitles. We need subtitles.
How great is it now, as an adult, having money and going to the grocery store the day after and picking up candy for $2, all the candy you could possibly eat.
Yeah, is that what you ended up doing? Because I recall you being a wee bit of we have to conserve candy. Oh.
Okay, so I will set the scene in that new dad Gavin came to new dad Trevor's house for Halloween, and we handed out candy. And I had this scenario built up in my mind where we were going to have just not enough. We were going to it was only 6 o'clock, and there's a bunch of kids coming, and we're just going to be out of candy. We're going to be that jerk house that 7 o'clock turns off the lights.
It was like the Romans awaiting the Gothic horde. They're coming any day now. The Visigoths are going to come and just burn our place to the ground, unless we give them candy.
So so they were coming back from the door, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I handed out about 4 or 5 each," and it's just what?
Oh my
God! 4 or 5? We gotta.
I love Jeff's
reaction. What are you doing?
But then it gets to a point where it starts to get a little bit later. It's 7:30 and 8. It's okay, now we have a lot of candy. And it's slowing down. Oh God! Give out a lot of candy. Just shove it out. What on earth is the proper balance as far as handing this stuff out so you don't end up with?
Well, here's a kicker though that made me roll with laughter was in literally the same breath of him going, "Guys, we really have to conserve how much candy we're giving out, or we're going to run out of candy." While he's telling us that, he's opening a Snickers.
Perfect.
And slowly putting it in his mouth. I'm like, what are you doing? You are telling us, and you're just yeah, go on.
That's part of the math.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
I'm so weak. I can't help it. Nah, that all figured into the candy equation, I assure you. So it's if we hand out 2 per kid and I consume 2 per minute, how much candy will we end up at the end of the night?
Well, you did it all wrong. You're supposed to do the reward system, right? A good costume earns you more candy. Less costume, less candy.
Oh no, there was one of our group actually gave out candy to a no costume, which is
you don't do that.
Big faux pas.
No.
That's why you keep a carton of eggs. And you don't throw the eggs at the kid. You just put gently the uncooked raw egg in their candy,
and then you kick their bag, and then
just let the night do what it does. It's you plant the landmine and you see where it goes.
No, you take the candy back out of their bag. No.
Help yourself to a handful. Ooh, this looks delicious. Thank you.
Time to pay the tax man.
Maybe an apple. It's oh, okay, trick it. Ooh, no full-size Snickers for you. Yeah. Here you go. Here's a red delicious. You jerk.
You do a bait and switch, and you have just the greatest giant chocolate bar ever, and you just you go to put it in, and you're psych, and you drop it in the dental floss in.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Next year.
Next year we'll go to the dollar store and buy a crate of dental floss or toothpaste, and just be there you go.
Toothpaste. Oh, that's insulting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I figured the one thing would be not to. I would have if I was the guy who went to the door, I think I probably would have just give it to them anyways. All right, yeah, it's just oh, you scamps, have a candy, get out of here. B, it's kind of like if they couldn't quite afford. What
I
if they
love the
could?
dad talk. Oh, you.
Yeah.
Oh, you scamps! Get out of here. The secondly is the idea of maybe I don't know if they couldn't afford a costume. Although part of me
Well,
believes that in that case they could have
don't-
just
Bring that in.
don't bring us down with that.
Well, no, really, like you can go to the dollar store and get like a cat mask for a loony.
Yeah.
If you're okay, if you
Use a
put that one
Sharpie and
backwards.
like draw like sunglasses on.
if you make like a $1 investment, or let's say even let's just be more realistic because of inflation. If you make like a $3 investment at the dollar store, you will see easily like a 5,000% return on your investment by way of candy. So like most
There you go.
kids can find in the couch enough revenue to buy a costume. Even if it's something, just try. Like use a Crayola marker and just hope it's a washable one and do something. But it's my thing is if the kid's brazen enough to walk up to the front door just in their regular clothes, just being like, "Give me candy. Where's your costume? I don't got one." That kid's brazen enough to do some serious damage. And that's like it's more like protection money. Like when the mob comes to your small business and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you're gonna pay us," and you're like, "I guess so, because I don't like fire," and you give them the candy.
That escalated.
Yeah. Mob burning all the way from the candy. So we'll chalk it under lovable scamps. And
There you go.
so yeah, so that was our Halloween. Me and Gavin, anyways. Like that was good. I for a couple of years have wanted to be on the giving end from the candy point of view. Didn't really want to go out this year, so I think that was an absolute blast. And thanks, Gavin, to your family coming along. Nice to meet your little one.
That was fun. Hey, did anybody kick the pumpkin apart, or did it survive?
Nope, survived the whole night. It's now on our kitchen table, and I'm sure it'll last forever.
Yes, it will. Yes, I bought a forever pumpkin. So if it goes green, it's just molting. It'll go back to its original form. Just be patient.
Just power through. Nice.
Power
So, Jeff, I assume you took your darling son's trick or treating. How did that? How did that play out?
It's awesome because I got all the candy. So
Go kids, go!
when you're younger and you put your candy downstairs and you sorted it and you woke up and you thought you had all the candy again. No, your parents were downstairs eating it because that's what I was doing. 'Cause it's just not good for them. Whatever, I'll eat it.
This is for your own good, son. This is for your own good.
Oh.
You don't need 50 Snickers. Like, come on.
No. Full-size chocolate bars, you can't eat that. That's
And you
fine.
catch them before they can like really handle the math.
Oh, they don't. Yeah, they don't understand.
They're like they don't inventory.
No.
Never
Well,
teach your kids to inventory.
my 5-year-old
That's
might
the
remember.
dad rule number 27. Never teach your kids to inventory.
Yeah.
It will always come back to haunt you.
Sorry, is that like a stone's throw away from like don't teach your kid to count? Because like it's sounding like some pretty bum advice.
Don't remember anything. No memory. But it was good taking them out because they had about an hour, maybe less than that, and then we came back here and handed out candy. But as back in my day, I always thought that I was out like night on the town for like 5 hours. I thought it was the longest night of my life. Got tons of candy. These kids, like we were done at 7:45. There's nobody else coming around. That was it. Like it was over. Night over.
Yeah.
So I probably don't remember time correctly, but they were in bed. I had the candy, and it was a great night. So
I think you're right, and Gavin, I think you might be able to back me up on it. Like I was definitely out until like I maximized my night. I was out until 9. I was out until
right?
I was out till 9:30. I was out until you were going to houses and no one was answering anymore. Like they shut down the town before we were finished because there was candy, and I was getting it.
Mardi Gras.
Right.
Yeah, it was like you would know the night was done when you got to houses and the people handing out candy had given up to the point where you're that lucky kid where they just like there's like a 3-4 pieces of candy left in the bowl and they're just like just take it and they just dump the bowl and just go home, take this and go home, and that was when you saw those you knew that the night was starting to come to a close. It's like when you see like a bar closing and like the regular leaves. It's like, oh, Stan left. Okay, yeah, this place is closed enough. We better go.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I recall it being a much
Right.
more, I don't know, like, yeah, a longer duration than like 1 to 2 hours. I remember, for some reason in my head, I think like, oh, we spent 1 to 2 hours per neighborhood, and then we would
Yeah.
pile in the car and drive to a fresh neighborhood, and then ransack that one. But maybe it was like only 10-minute intervals.
Yeah. You guys grew up in like you guys grew up in small towns like I did. I don't know if maybe that's like it's kind of a city thing because we're in Toronto, and I don't know if like maybe just Toronto parents don't want them wandering around at like 8 or 9 at night, so they shut it down early.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, because I was like my hometown's a lot much smaller than Toronto. But yeah, I don't recall things getting closed up as early. I don't know whether it's just my concept of time has changed or whether it's a city, small town, country kind of thing. I don't know.
No, I think it's safe to say kids today are worse than we were.
Yeah, easily.
They're weak.
Hmm.
And
They're
they're
weak.
mean, and they will form a gang and steal your candy without even wearing a costume.
That's right. It's happening.
You little buggers.
No,
No, that's right. I think, yeah, the doing it for the kids, I think, is great. I think to be kind of curious too is that the kids' costumes now are so much more a reflection of parents and their nostalgia as opposed to like kids' actual desire to be anything.
Yeah.
Like it feels like because we're in a age demographic where like it's kind of okay to have like childish hobbies and enjoyments, if you would. So like the thought that you could dress your little kid up as Darth Vader or obscure like Nintendo games or anything else that you'd want to, right? I think you're seeing a lot more of, oh man, look what I dressed my kid up as. Like I dressed my kid up as. That's hilarious. Yeah. I find it funny.
Yeah, I actually know of a guy. I met him about a week or so ago, just kind of like at a social event, and his daughter wanted to go as like a Disney character, and he was like, "No, you should go as Darth Vader." She's like, "I want to go as a Disney character." He's like, "No, don't go as a silly Disney character. Go." And he like try to convince her how cool it would be to go as like Princess Leia or Darth Vader because Star Wars is coming out soon. And I think the end result was like a princess with a Darth Vader helmet on. Like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
So
that's a good one. That's a good compromise.
It's a compromise. I'd say it's a compromise.
Well, it is, except that's not what the kid wanted. Like,
okay.
There's the rub.
You're the parent.
Okay, that wasn't necessarily what the kid wanted to do. I'm not sure whether the costume came about due to the kid finally being like, actually, that's a good idea, or whether it was literally on the way out the door, just like, boom, like put the helmet on, give him a little boot, what you get.
Yeah, Dad, what are you singing? Nothing. Look over there. Dun, 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 dun. Just like lowering it on his head.
I want to come off. It will come off in a few days. Don't worry. The glue will let go.
So I'm looking forward to that. Like the time when he starts dressing up and I can actually take my son out for trick or treating. I think that's going to be an absolute blast. That's I think it's one of those father moments I think we get to really look forward to and participating with.
I'm excited for like finding that thing that they really dig, and then becoming enthusiastic about that. And I honestly don't care what it is. Like I have a little girl. It could be something stereotypically girly. It could be something completely obscure. Like she could just be like, I want to go as a dinosaur. You went as a dinosaur last year, dear. I don't want to go as a dinosaur. It's like, okay, fine. Well, at least a different dinosaur. No, Stegosaurus. Every year, Stegosaurus. And like that could be it. Like it could just, she always wants to go as Stegosaurus. I don't know. But I'm excited to find out. And then to go out on that adventure. Just the smell of Halloween, like the fall leaves and that. It's just something. This year was one of the first years in a while that I've gotten to get really enthusiastic about it too. As Trevor could attest, is like I showed up, like my wife and I are both dressed up, and we got like a carved pumpkin. We're like, hey guys, Halloween. Want to do Halloween now? Can we go?
Has it started yet?
Has it started yet? So yeah, no, it's exciting. Like just going and like holding their hand and making sure that they do a good, proper 6 hours, And,
Daddy, I'm tired. It's like that. You've only gotten 2 bags of candy.
yeah.
You're not getting home to get 4, so bust it. And then mysteriously during the night, 2 bags of candy disappear, and just like, I don't know what happened. Free candy.
Good.
Daddy, you made me get 5 bags of candy, but there's only 2 bags of candy. I don't know.
Don't know.
Well,
You should have worked harder.
in the free society, we have to pay a thing called tax. Taxes pay for basic goods and services, like your education and your food. So this is Dad's now. Switch it over to gaming then from the week. I actually had a bit of a, traumatic would be overstating it a little bit, but it kind of puts into the right wheelhouse anyways, where I had as much, I am still a very big fan and supporter of PC gaming, as far as like that's my vehicle for my video games. Like I think it offers a lot of great opportunities, a lot of variety, choice, excellent deals for games, great. But with it does come some risks, and one of those risks hit me where I could not play video games for 2 of my gaming sessions that I had. And it was so sad. Like beyond, I was sad because especially now as a father, like those gaming, it's like, all right, I have like this 20 minutes or 30 minutes, everything's kind of calm, I'm going to just play a quick game here, finally kind of just like kick my feet up for a bit. And then to go and just have it not work for a technical reason is just so grating. And I think I really wanted to play Rocket League. I wanted to hop in, give a quick match. There was an issue. It's a known bug where the controller sometimes doesn't register as player 1, so you can't use it. So you'd have to use the keyboard instead, which is basically not playing the game properly. So I frittered away 2 gaming sessions going online, trying to go through forums and figure out what the heck was wrong with it. And eventually fixed it, but it just slapped me in the face as far as PC gaming, just sometimes it doesn't work. And now especially, like as a dad with so little time to do it, like that is not an easy failure to take. Like that, it makes a great argument for console gaming when your time is so limited.
To just be able to pick up, playing, and then put down and go. Like
Right.
I remember the Battlefield 4. Every single time I go to boot up Battlefield 4, it would be like, oh, you have to update your video card driver. I'm like, well, I just did that like a week ago. Oh, well, there's the new like 14 point like decimal. It's like 8.
Yeah.
It's like this is like the 1,000th of an update. Like it's still technically a beta test of a driver file. Like I don't need it. The other driver file worked fine. Just let me play. And they're like, no, because this new one exists, you can't play until you update it. And it's just like, I have half an hour to play, and you want me to do 20 minutes of updates. Like, how's that work? It doesn't work. So eventually that kind of made me lose desire to play the game much more on the PC, where anytime I used to play Battlefield games on the consoles, it'd just be like, boot up, go. And, maybe there'd be an update, but it would be automated. Like, you wouldn't have to research, like, okay, well, what video card do I have? What driver file should I get? And yeah, it really does take the wind out of your sails when you're like, sit down. That's one of the things about PC gaming where, just a second. See, okay.
It's those old problems you used to have, right? Where you would figure out and tweak and patch your games before you had to play. I used to be a PC gamer and then switched to consoles just because I'm lazy and I just wanted to pop it in and have it work, which does work in my favor as a dad because the PS4 you can auto update, like it sleeps and it just does its thing. So you boot it up and it's good to go. I guess the same is not true for PC all the time, but whatever. Sorry, you suck. Rocket League's awesome.
And to its credit, like I did eventually find the issue. It was my fault. It's like something else.
Well,
like, oh yeah.
Let's stop beating on the poor PC then.
In the sense that I installed a different program that did something, and it just usurped another thing without really telling anything else that it was doing such a thing.
Yeah.
So you just had to troubleshoot it, but Yeah, man, that is just, it was so.
Troubleshooting is the worst video game of all.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah, internet forums are some of my least favorite levels on the internet game, as far as trying to, some of the worst bosses you could imagine. So, man, but just I definitely, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna switch anytime soon, and it fortunately happens rarely enough, and I still like enough of the other benefits of PC gaming that I'm not about to let this. I'm not about to go sell it online and quickly pick up a console as fast as possible, but like it was so defeating, like, and to have it happen twice and just yeah, it was crushing. It was just crushing. Just really, if nothing else, drove home just how important now those little times are as like a new dad trying to get some gaming in. Like, geez, if you lose that, like that is just because then literally like this is my gaming time, blew it trying to fix a computer issue, and then I went to bed.
Yeah, you bookend a long, hard day with troubleshooting online. You try to debug an issue, and then you get to go to sleep after that. It's like you don't have broccoli for dessert. Like, that's just not how it works.
But so gentlemen yourselves, how was your week in gaming and fatherhood?
Jeff, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Well, speaking of switching, I slightly swapped to not PC gaming, but Mac gaming. More niche.
You enjoying all 6 games that like?
I have, let's see, I got Steam up right now. 15. I got 15.
Ooh.
But I haven't played all of them, of course. But I dove into the Halloween sale on Steam. And I got both Witchers, which I shouldn't have done, because that's like 200 hours of
Each.
horribleness. So I tried that out. It's okay.
Sorry, for reference, you got like the old Witchers, like Witcher 1 and 2, or you got...
Witcher 1 and Witcher 2 in prep that I hope to have Witcher 3 on sale for PS4 sometime. Because right now it's like $74 or whatever our currency is at. So, yeah, I don't know. So I wanted to prepare myself stupidly. I should have just watched a YouTube video or something.
It's like you could have spent like, instead of 200 hours ripping through old games, like you could just spend 2 hours on YouTube and.
I know. It was $1. I don't. I think it's $1. Whatever. Against my own advice, $1.
Now, what's your exasperation coming from though? Is it because the games are like you're not enjoying them, or you're just concerned about the time sink?
Well, a little bit of the time sink, and the mechanics of the game are about 7 years old. So not the best, like the combat is kind of antiquated, if that's the right word. It's old school. It's not really like click and you have a sword come down. It's more of like a click and it's a roll of the dice of numbers, and the other guy just gets hit. And then I don't know, it's odd. Don't try it. It kind of sucks the fun out of the game, but it's part of the game. So I don't know. I might just dump it and not do it ever again, or I might go back for another shot. But again, I was just sucked into that Steam sale, which I shouldn't have done. I'm not used to that as a console gamer for games, full games.
Yeah, especially with
$1.
I find with PlayStation is their sales are
Yeah.
very infrequent, and when they do go on sale, it's like there's really not. I think the big thing too, especially with PS4, is that right now there's that PS Go. Is that it? No.
Which one? PS Now?
PS Now. That's it.
Yeah, the old school.
And I think with that system, like there's this huge back catalog of games that would go on sale.
Right. Exactly.
But they're not available because they want to. Like the PS4 could easily emulate all the PS3 library that's available, but they don't want to do that because they want to do it through the streaming service, because that's how they want to present that content. I was going to say prevent that content.
That's kind of doing that.
Yeah, it's not so far off.
Not entirely
Now was it you? I was going to ask. I just saw an ad for that today. They added like 150 50 new titles to it. Like,
Yeah,
I thought it kind of looked like a pretty decent deal, actually, as far as... So you pay a monthly subscription,
Yes.
and these games stream to your system, and you can just play them. And it's all kind of an old... it must be PS3 games and older, I imagine.
PS3, PS2, and PS1. Yeah.
And
But
like it's a great library, but the price point's a little high, and it,
horribly high.
for what you're getting. Like
What is it? What's the
20
price?
bucks, I think.
20?
20 bucks a month. That to me is crazy, like huge. Like when Netflix is $8,
yeah,
right? I thought
like, I
if you did a
understand it being a
Netflix
little
price,
bit more because it's an interactive experience, but the majority of these titles are like a generation or more old.
yeah,
So like it just doesn't make, and especially too when their main competitor is doing backwards compatibility now with their
right.
entire previous library, it's like, oh, I can tell you which of the two which one is going to win out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a shame because there is a big back catalog of PS3 that I want to enjoy, I want to check out, but I don't like if they did like a Steam sale for PS3 titles on the PS4, I would just be all over that. I'd be buying them, even if it wasn't a superly discounted price, I would still be all over it. But then I'd have it. It'd be in a library, and I would own it.
Right.
But to put that money out there and to be like, well, especially when you're busy, I don't know. Like this month coming up, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get much gaming time, which is sad because I got Fallout on the way next week. Just me. So to have something where it's like, in order to make it the $20 a month worthwhile, like you should have a regularly scheduled gaming routine. That means that, I'll get this many hours. I should be able to at least complete a game a month or this or that. But my gaming time is so sporadic that there's probably a majority of the months in the year where I'm like, I don't know if I really got $20 worth of game time out of that.
No.
When there's other games on top as well, like new releases that I want to play. Like we're talking $20 a month to play an old back catalog.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be. Yeah, you need a decent time investment to possibly make that worth it for games that are relatively older, and especially as like a new father. Like you don't stand a chance of getting like $20 worth.
No. Like I would happily pay $5 for an old PS3 title to throw on when I get a chance here and there, because they even have a system where you can rent by the hour. Like you don't just have to do by the month. But then I'm like, but then I rent it. Do I get to keep the save file? Or does that go away too? Like, how does this work? And even if I did get to keep the save file, and of the rental time I have, it expires, and it's like, I only got so much time. I want to play some more, and it's like, by the time I'm done, I've paid almost retail new release price for a game that's like 12 years old. It's like, what am I doing?
Is it an hour total time? I hope, because otherwise it's like you.
Oh.
Because you rent it for the. I was like, all right, I got this till 3 o'clock. Like, let's start playing, and just like, wah. You're like, no. This is the only hour I have, baby. Please, the PlayStation's gonna take it away from me. You please don't do this.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't like is the idea that like it's gonna get taken back, and you're like, but I wanted to just buy it. Can't I just buy it? No.
Anyway, that was my gaming experience. Was the Steam sale, and
welcome back. It's great. Welcome back to big gaming.
Put a lot on my wish list for when they go on sale for the Christmas sale. I'm sure that they are going to have again, or the winter Steam sale. But I didn't buy anything else. Just Witcher 1 and 2. I figured that was enough. That was $4 total.
That's like 3 years of gameplay, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll keep you guys updated. In terms of fatherhood, not too much. Swimming lessons. Halloween was great. Again, just
what did your kids go as? I don't know if you already mentioned or if I just
Batman.
forgot.
We had a Batman, so my 5-year-old went as a Batman.
Very good. You must have been proud.
Loves superheroes, so it's great. It's kind of like the Costco Batman, so super high quality, actually. Recommend Costco. Less creative than some of the other costumes, but he had like the full muscles and everything. And then my youngest went as Chase from Paw Patrol. You guys know that yet? You will.
I've seen it. I've seen it on Netflix. Like, I think it's dogs. That's rescue dogs.
Rescue dogs. You will know it well if that still exists when your little ones grow up.
Man, have you seen Bubble Guppies?
Bubble Guppies was our crack cocaine for a while. I mean,
look, it is a kid show. It's mermaid, so it doesn't need to necessarily be realistic. But quite literally, there's no need for those things to be underwater.
No.
Like I watched an episode where they had a fire-based pizza business, and they were serving it up, and it's like, what does this have to do with the sea? Like why?
They have like other animals that are guppies.
It's like, why are you underwater? Like there's no need. Just like have funky kids running around. They had another episode where it's like there's like a forest, like a literal forest, and like a bridge. It's like, what does a bridge go over? In the sea. You're in the water.
And they can't get over it, right? They can't swim over it. They got to find a way around a broken bridge or a hill or something.
It's like, if only we had like an extra axis of movement under a medium that's all around us, like water.
I remember that theme song well. I could sing it all for you. I'm not going to, but all the time. Paw Patrol will be the next one. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I to this day that pizza thing just like I still have. I'm so angry. I
like how it made you like physically angry. Like you were just like mad at it. Like no, that's wrong.
Can't do this.
I'm yelling at these little mermaid kids, like
tweeting the show, Facebooking it. Don't watch it.
It's not that they can't. It's you can't have a fire underwater. Fine, like you're mer people. Like it's I don't. So like we've obviously given away the need for realism, but it's just like they're not using their setup. It's like, yeah, we're people of the sky and we fly around and we all have wings. That's great. Everybody on the bus. You're like, why is there a bus? You fly like you're birds. That doesn't like use the palette by which you're given for the process of the show. Like I get the feeling I'm going to hate a lot of kid shows.
Yes, you are.
Episode of like it'd be an episode of Popeye where he spends the entire episode looking for a can opener. You're like, you're Popeye. You just break the can. Like, that's part of the shtick. Like, it doesn't make sense. It'd be like the rescue dogs going, help, we need to be rescued. It's like, no, that's what you do. It's backwards. That's not... Like, maybe a episode where one of them's in peril, but not every... Yeah.
It just feels a tad bit lazy, though. You know? Like, if you think about things that could go under... Like... Like you're collecting seaweed, or like the starfish are in trouble, or you have to
stark contrast.
You should write for the show,
right? I just nailed a whole season of underwater stuff, and it just feels like it's like, okay, well here's like this 20 classic storylines. Let's just shove it underwater, and now with dogs that talk, and now in the sky. Like there's no care or concern given to like the scope of like where exactly these characters are. Like it's bothersome watching some of these shows, and it's well produced. Like it's well produced. Like there's songs. Like the animation seems really tight. So just whoa, man, I'm gonna
don't buy the app though. I will warn you: do not buy their app
because it's addictive or it's garbage.
No, because I bought it for my kids when they were a little bit older than yours, right? So they could hear the voices and play with it. But they changed it. I think there was a licensing issue, and they're not the same voices, so they don't even recognize it. Do not get it.
Oh, that's dirty. That's
dirty. And I had it before, and then it switched over, like one of the updates. It changed all of them through the update.
I mean,
But I had already
it's
paid
gonna
for it.
be like, it's gonna be great. It's like I love bubble guppies. Hey kids.
Hey, kid. Buy my other app. It's on
That
sale.
happened when I was working on like a kids TV show, and I was doing like art assets for marketing and stuff afterwards. But I got some of their like pre-released episodes where they were still work in progress, and they still had some placeholder voice work, and it was literally like this cute little woodland character, and then it just started talking, and it was like this 65-year-old black guy. It was just like, oh, but it was like the new
Oh
voice was supposed to-
yeah.
yeah. Or like there would be another one where it was just like, you'd see this giant hippopotamus, and it had like, just big burly things. Like, oh, that's gonna have a deep voice, and it's like, they just had like Janice from accounting come in and quickly do a voiceover. Like it was just like. It was so bizarre. It was just you saw it happen and the mouth would move and you're like, that's not right at all. But it was so much fun to watch too. It was great. It was just one of those little things that like one of the perks of working on the show was getting to see things when they were still like just
Half-baked.
horribly rough. Just, oh man, that's just so bad.
Oh yeah, kids. You gotta go to Bubblegum Forest.
Yeah,
Make
it
sure
would
you
be
get
like
those bubble drops.
Yep. But like this stuff had to be in because they needed to know the timing for the animation and stuff, and it was just like, yep, let's just get this finished.
Candy. I love candy. It's like- See, now that I'd watch. That'd be fine. See,
There you go. Yeah.
now we
these
have
are-
kid shows I like. So so Gavin, yourself, how was your week in gaming and fatherhood?
Fatherhood was a lot of fun. We got to do some cool stuff. Our baby flipped.
Whoa. Milestone.
Yeah, and she got it in before the 3-month mark too, so we're super proud of her. It's like, all right.
Certified genius. Book it.
So, but the thing is that it was my wife had been working with the baby, just like doing the exercises as far as putting her on her tummy, making sure she strengthens the right muscles, and she'd just been diligent about it and just, on top of it. So last Thursday, my wife's like, there's a bottle of milk in the fridge, but I would really love to just have some me time and go to the spa and relax. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Just have fun. And, I got this. Don't worry about it. And of course, that's when the baby decided.
Oh.
None of the work, all the payoff.
I'm never leaving
like,
again.
I know. It's like running a marathon and then somebody coming in at the last minute to break the ribbon. Yeah. So, but luckily, she did it a couple times, so I got like some really good video of it. So that kind of took a bit of the sting off. And then the next day, the baby did it a couple more times for my wife. So it eventually the sting wore off, but it was just one of those like, oh, are you kidding me? And then today we had some nice photos done with my sister-in-law came over, and we got some nice photography done, so that was a lot of fun. Beautiful day for it. We went to a nice little park and lots of great canopy with the leaves changing. So as far as gaming goes, still plugging away at some Dying Light. I'm working quite a bit right now, just because I got a couple things coming to deadline, and it's just work, baby. But I did manage to play something new this week when I got home on Halloween, and I got the family all tucked in.
It's a Bubble Guppy app, isn't it?
I picked up the Bubble Guppy app, and I played it for 6 hours straight. No, I finally got a chance to crack into PT.
Oh, yeah.
I had
Whoa,
heard
that's
amazing
like
things about it.
it's pretty intense to hop into, man. Like
It's
Halloween,
nice
too.
and-
That's good.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? My first time playing PT is going to be the last like half hour of Halloween. And what's interesting is playing a horror game when you have a sleeping infant in the next room, like the wall right adjacent to you. It's like, in a horror movie where there's like somebody hiding in the closet from like, the chainsaw murder guy. Oh, obviously Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw. I understand my horror movies. I'm just being aloof. But okay, so you're hiding. Like Jason Voorhees is in the next room, and he's looking for you, and you're hiding in the closet, and then instead some other camp counselor stumbles into the room, and then you proceed to see the horror of Jason just eviscerating this poor camp counselor teenager. But you can't scream, because if you scream, you'll give away where you are, and you'll be in a worse position. That's what it's like. It's like I'm hiding in a closet, and I can't scream, or the
Oh,
monster
it's
will
horrible.
get me.
Yes, it's horrible.
And it's like if I scream, I'll wake up the baby, and the milk monster will get me. So it's that added level of anxiety, and it works so well, and it made it so much scarier, because instead of screaming, I just like breathed really heavy and just like and just like crunched the controller in my hand. I was just like, don't scream, don't scream. And I got through. I didn't scream, luckily, because I will scream. I'm not ashamed to say a couple of games have made me go scare the dog. But this was really intense, and it was. I'm like, why Silent Hill should have, but you guys just why?
I know. Did you get through it? How long did you play? I played for like 6 minutes, and it was like, nope.
Jeez. You just gave up, eh?
That's not it.
I got through to the conclusion. What I think narratively should be the conclusion. Yeah.
Did you look up on the stairs? She's up there, right?
Yeah.
If you look up, that freaked me out. I just stopped. Not doing it.
My favorite was the bathroom door when you heard something in it, and then you go to look in the bathroom, and then she like
closes it.
Puts her head around and closes the door. You're just like, no. That was almost a big nope moment for me.
Damn, I have to watch this. I can't play it. I don't have the PlayStation. But
Don't watch it. You need to experience it. With surround sound, you need to play it. I didn't uninstall it. You can't download it anymore.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I thought they got. I don't even know how you got it, Gavin.
Well,
Did you have it from before?
Yeah, because I heard that they were going to take it off the store, so I downloaded it, and it's just been sitting on my hard drive for months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to crack into this, but I got to wait. And then it was like just a perfect time. Like the baby was asleep, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this out, and it was a lot of fun, and it was just a really solid. It was just the atmosphere, because it's all it is. It's a ghost house, basically. It's a haunted house.
Just a hallway, really. Like it's one hallway.
It's an L-bend hallway with a bathroom and a foyer, and that's it. And you just like keep experiencing it, but you're kind of caught in this purgatory mind loop psychosis, and it's
so
just
good.
It's so beautifully atmospheric that the environment tells a story, and you don't really interact with anything. You can look, like zoom in, and like concentrate on things, but that's about it. That and walk around. That's all you do. But it's so good.
Can't run. You can just walk. Can't run.
Just wait until the PlayStation VR comes out.
Oh, people have heart attacks. There's no way. There's no way we can do that.
People would have like PTSD.
Yeah.
Hey, PT. So I meant to ask, did you get to the David Lynch moment?
No.
Oh yeah, there's a
No.
Oh, it gets interesting.
I watched it. I watched the rest of it on YouTube, so I know like the story of it, but I did not know way. No.
Oh wait, hold on. So Jeff, you were freaked out enough to stop playing it. But but you found watching it online was fine. Okay, it's easier
because you're not there. Like you're not in it. This game kind of makes you feel there, and especially with like surround sound or even headphones. And I think the controller whispers to you. I'm not sure if it does, but
that's
you
messed
can
up.
hear her breathing behind you, and if you turn, she's not there. So it's really well done, and I didn't want to give myself more stress than having 2 kids. So.
Like you finish the game, you just have a streak of gray.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Like, here, kid, play this. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah,
give it to your 5-year-old, see what happens.
Yeah. I can do this. It's easy.
Yeah, it goes right through. It's like, what? I was like, it's funny. I made friends with her.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I invited her to our house.
So yeah, that was the extent of my gaming experience this week. I got a couple of games on the Steam library I want to crack into. There's that XCOM. Is the one that's the kind of Mass Effect-ish one with like a lot of third-person cover mechanics and stuff like that. I kind of want to play it just because I love the aesthetic of it, this sort
It's
of
good.
like 50s G-Man sort of vibe. I really liked what Firaxis did with the new XCOM series. I know it's not a related title, but it got me back into that sort of tactical turn-based combat with like Roswellian government stuff like that. I've always loved that sort of aesthetic and that narrative. So I think I might try to crack into that at some point. I think that could be one that would be a good bite-sized one. But that might not be till December because I am stupidly crazy busy. So we'll see.
I thought you say it's like T minus Fallout. You're just like cleaning the
Yeah.
palette before Fallout 4 shows up. It's funny you mention
Yeah.
it because like I had I plowed through a bit more of Batman, and I was kind of like planning out my next game, and kind of specifically because like, having spent so much time in Hearthstone and even with Rocket League, where it's kind of a game, there's no end, like you can't win it, right? And I don't know, there's some feeling where it's just like I want to. It's not that beating a game's a great achievement necessarily. No, I'll say it's an achievement. Like I wanted to get through it, play something, get the story, get the beginning, middle, end, conclusion. Excellent. Check
Yep.
mark, kind of move on to the next one. And with those experiences, as great as they are, especially kind of for a diving in, diving out type of thing, which is really conducive to the small amount of time I have as a dad now. It was just like I'm not progressing in anything, and I never will, unless I'm going to become like a world champion of Hearthstone, which isn't necessarily my plan.
There's still time. You can-
If I just give up everything, drop my job, I might be able to make those championships. But no, so like I kind of had this moment where it's just like, man, I should really, in this gaming time, I should progress in some way because I have so many great games to play through. Like, for instance, still have not played the latest Bioshock game,
Oh yeah.
Bioshock Infinite. Yeah, and
Infinite.
it just I've seen a ton of reviews. I've seen like raves about it, the story and everything else. Like, I'm curious to see it. So like I think in many ways I'm gonna be trying to find more time to give a better sense of accomplishment in some ways, as far as in something as hobbyish as gaming, even like still just to start getting to a few more story games, so that it's like beginning, middle, end, learn it, love it, beat it, and move on.
It's like finding the ones too where they kind of get a little bit bashed for having a short campaign. Like that's usually a big red mark on a game review. But to me, that's something I find enticing now, where I'm like, oh, sweet, okay, so it's a manageable campaign.
Yeah, which is interesting, right? That's a flip.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, like, well, it's not 400 hours, so it's
Yeah.
not worth my money. But now I'm like, oh, 10-hour campaign.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can manage that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And what's nice too is you don't have to memorize an entire codex of information, with appendixes and all these subcategories of like, oh, this, you see, these monsters are actually descendants of these monsters. And you're like, I don't care. I don't care.
Let me kill
I don't
it.
care. Just, can I hit it with a shotgun? Okay, that's fine. Oh no, I use a flamethrower? Okay. Like I don't like I used to, but even in like pre-dad gaming, I don't know, I just didn't care that much. Like I wanted to know the emotional toll of the characters. I didn't really care about their genealogical lineage. I just wanted to. So some games, especially fantasy RPG, is quite guilty of this sometimes, where you can just get so in depth with the world building. And I commend those who really dig it and follow it because it takes a special memory part of your brain to be able to analyze and retain all that information.
Oh man, like the books in Skyrim, right?
Yes.
Like
Oh,
there's
that's
whole like
crazy.
there's like
Yeah.
there's some books that there's 12 books you have to find to get the entire story. Like, man, like really, and they're like 12-page books each. So in game, you're sitting there running around and having like a readathon. Like it's nuts.
You're reading in a video game. How?
Yeah, the kid stops. Like, wait a minute.
You're reading books. You're making me read.
Yeah, it's like in Skyrim to solve one of the tomb puzzles to get it to open up. It's like all of a sudden it turns out to be just a big old long division problem. Wait a second. You're
That'd be
making
more
me
like-
learn stuff.
It's like Describe how in this book series. Describe how the character grew. And it's like 100 word.
There's a wizard like blocking the treasure, and it's like you have to give a book report to get past them. Like, you don't use fireballs or a sword or anything. You just you talk about the human condition and character development, and he's like, you may pass.
Jeez. I'm just kind of curious because like we're getting a little bit short on time, so I don't want to go too much of a tangent. But I mean, one of the mechanic that is starting to present itself a lot in gaming is hacking, and a lot with hacking, like where you can change. Like I've seen 3 or 4 games that there's. Oh man, I'm sad that I'm missing the name of this one, but like where you could actually, as the character, you're playing in an unfinished video game, and you can run around, and you can actually eventually get kind of godlike powers where you can go into enemies and characters and other parts of the world and change its code so that it's like instead of being angry, it's friendly, or you can change its life, or you can change its behavior or its patterns, any number of things. And like I've now seen like a good string of like 3 or 4 games that use this type of mechanic, and it gets pretty deep in. Like some of them, it's like literally a code editor where it's like, oh well, here's his health stat. I'll just reduce that to 0, and like boom, you're done. So you're having like this coding that's like slowly starting to work its way into gaming. You have to wonder if that becomes kind of like a common mechanic for folks, like how much easier it'll be for those kids to pick up actual coding later on. It's like, oh, that's like that game. You just have to edit those variables and off that goes.
Maybe. It depends too on how authentic the game designers make the coding to real coding, or if they're just making like a puzzle mechanic that is entertaining, and it's figuring out which that is. I did a game jam last year, or like back in the last winter, with a guy I'm buddies with, and we made this like, you know, that scene in Jurassic Park where Lex has to hack the Unix system to get the door locks.
Yeah.
So we made like a little game where you would be searching for files within like a Unix system. There'd be like a little like Clippy type character would come up and harass you, and basically just like 90s operating system jokes left, right, and center. And the hacking was literally just mash the keyboard until you fill a line of code and then hit enter. But the lines of code, the length would vary on each line. So once you started typing in red characters, you'd have to erase the red characters, then hit enter. And that's how you would figure out if you hit the end of that line. And it was just mashing, but it felt really good. But it had nothing to do with coding, but that's how you would hack a security node to further your progression in the game.
Yeah, some of the stuff I'm actually seeing, like, it's variables, there's if statements. So it's getting...
So that's proper coding. Well,
yeah, so man, it'll be interesting to see if it kind of takes off. Like, you obviously have some issues, because, like, if you're solving deep down, like, computer problems, like, I don't know how much of a video game it turns into, but...
Yeah, it's like those old video games growing up, like in school, that the teachers would let you play, but it was all just math.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those? It was like you get computer time, and you're like, sweet, I get to go. Oh, I gotta battle this bad guy, and it's like you just had to solve like a logarithm to get the bad guy to explode, or like there's those typing games like Type of the Dead and stuff like that, where they would take
those are fun.
Those rail shooters from the arcade, and they would make it so you'd have to type, and if you got your characters right, then the zombie head would explode, and you'd be like, ah, sweet. But if you messed up, the zombies would eat you. Fail. So, like, this edutainment in gaming is still, or has been around for a while, and it just sounds like it's shifting now to not just basic skills like math and typing, but to more complex comprehension, like with coding and problem solving using code. So, yeah, that's curious. But I think it's going to be exclusively, obviously, a PC market, because it's a hard thing to do with a keyboard, comfortably at least.
So there we go. So all in, PC is still the best. Fantastic. No, I'd love to see try to translate those math games to real life. Where it's, sorry, sir, we're not going to be able to upgrade your seat. Well, 2 + 4 = 6. Just like, well, you're not dying. damn it.
Yeah. Or it's like you confront like a real hostile individual. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning, and somebody pulls a knife on you. Like, give me your wallet. And it's like, I will, if you can solve this math problem.
Yeah.
And then you just spew one at them, and then they cut you and take your money.
And that's it.
I guess,
Wah wah.
or is it, I prefer to think that he appreciates the education, shakes your
Maybe,
hand,
yeah.
and you both go away slightly the richer for different reasons.
You explain the concepts in math that they weren't perhaps grasping, that were holding them back from a life of not mugging people, and then they become an MP. So.
Oh, jeez. All right. That could veer off into dangerous territory. So on that wonderful note, I think we will wrap it up for the week. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to get a hold of us, please drop by our website at newdadgaming.com. We host this show weekly. If you have any questions as fathers yourselves or show ideas, we'd love to hear from it. So all the share, subscribe, like, and everything else you do with fine podcasts. We'll see you next week, folks. And as always, I'm Trevor, and I have a 5-month-old.
I'm Gavin. I have an almost 3-month-old.
I'm Jeff. Whoa, I'm Jeff, 2.5-year-old and a 5-year-old.
You okay there? Something happened on the computer? Your Mac break or something?
No, it's always stable. What are you talking about? Peace.
Super stable. Wonderful. Great, guys. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Yep.
At a lemonade stand. They had a lemonade stand. They were selling liquid in liquid.
Yeah, but SpongeBob does that too.
But like SpongeBob is like a show targeted at like older stoners. Like it's not meant for kids. Like this is like literally just for like tots, and it's like the laziest thing. Like you're telling me you can't possibly sell seaweed salad, like, or starfish sparklers, something like any, like
Right for the show, I swear.
take random sea item, attach non-sea item to it, and then sell that thing, and you have an episode like lemonade. Come on.
He's so angry at it. It's great. You're gonna love it.
I've never seen him this mad. This is the
It's
There's one that they teach you that there's a bear that lives on the moon. It's called the Moonbear, and they dance and they have a song about it. My kid was afraid of the Moonbear for a long time. Until I informed him there's no such thing as a Moonbear.
that they were sad. Like,
He's like, oh, okay, thank you. I can close my curtain now and go to sleep. So yeah.
Was he just staring at the moon, waiting for the bear to jump at him?
Probably. No, I don't know what he was thinking, but
Oh,
God.
I would have kept. I would keep that one just in case, though.
oh yeah, just in case he acts out.
The moon bear. Just be like, hey.
the Moonbear, kids who don't go to bed get attacked by the Moonbear.
Eviscerated by the Moonbear.
Moon bear's gonna eat your toes.